I am here at Hancock Shaker Village in Pittsfield in Hancock, Massachusetts, the site of a Shaker commune that was active until 1960. Known as the City of Peace, it features 1,200 acres of a restored village featuring 20 buildings. It is now operational as a historical museum. You can even book your wedding here. The Shakers, which was more of a derogatory term to encompass their enthusiastic outward expression of spirit. One historian described this as including shaking, rolling on the floor, whirling, glossolalia, which is speaking in tongues, barking, laughing, dancing, running after one's outstretched hands, long trances, but later these would be outlawed and redirected into elaborate dances, some featuring intricate group work in pursuit of greater social controls, as with the village model with gender separation, shared living, and working together in communal goods. According to Sybil R. Heim, dances became more stylized, patterned, and disciplined. There were quick marches, shuffle marches, and round marches, round dances. A square order shuffle was conceived to depict angels dancing before the throne of God. These dances became increasingly complex. The intent was that the dances would increase communication with God. Walt Whitman of Leaves of Grass fame witnessed a wheel dance in 1853. Unfortunately, the increased emphasis on structure led to a loss of the personal, self-directed, impulsive expression of enthusiasm that had been so powerful in the earlier experience, but that risked for the leadership the loss of social control. Repetition, as observed by Heim, was anti-spiritual. So what did they believe? They were basically Christian and were led and reinvented by Anne Lee, who was a working-class young woman who was 22 when she joined the United Society of Believers, founded in Manchester, England, 11 years earlier by John and Jane Wardley, who would cede control to Lee 10 years after her joining. Included in this was a unique concept of a male-female duality found in the God's head. Lee was a prophetess and was believed to be the Christ Spirit returning to lead the way to the second coming and salvation should they adopt the Shaker way of being free of sin. After imprisonment for disruptive behavior in England, like the Quakers, which the Shakers were derivative of, going so far as to obstruct the efforts of other denominations to hold their services and practice their faith, she brought a handful of followers, some say 7, some say 9, to America in 1774 aboard the Maria to Watervliet, New York, where they established their first Shaker village, Niskayuna. She would be jailed in the New World too, along with some of her followers, for refusal to pick sides in the American Revolutionary War or to fight in it. Missionary work by the Shakers would lead to new communities founded in New York, New England, and later in Ohio and Kentucky. By 1819, there would be 18 settlements in 8 states. This was intended to be a utopian community predicated upon strict celibacy. Anne Lee was horrified by carnal desire or behavior. The expectation to humble the self and to mortify the lusts of the flesh through self-debasement, separation of the sexes, public confession of sins, pacifism. There was a strict hierarchy. Anne Lee and her successors were messengers from God and were to be obeyed completely. Socially organized communists, they shared consumption. Frederick Engels actually studied them. Not anti-modern, unlike the Amish, they embraced technical and political ideas and advancements, hard work and pride in the quality of the product of the hard work, faith in the nonstop involvement and presence of God in their lives, continual revelation through their prophet leaders, simplicity in how they lived, dressed, behaved, and conducted themselves, focused on the pursuit of perfection and largely isolated from the external world. At their peak, they had 5,000 to 6,000 members in about 20 settlements, but today the only ones remaining is in New Gloucester, Maine, called Sabbath Day Lake. Celibacy makes it difficult to continue to expand the faith and to maintain members. A lack of great awakenings didn't help either. They became perceived as less dangerous. Initially, they were thought to be a threat to Republican government, normal family structure, private property, and individualism. But over time, they became co-opted into an amusing, endearing, antiquarian community. Unfortunately, today, all that's really left is the furniture, the tasty jams, and museums like this. They're more a footnote now than a chapter in the story of American faith and experience. Thank you.